Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel where we take deep dives into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today we are going to explore the history, details, and incredible value of one very special coin, the 1994 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a piece of American currency that in certain rare conditions has been valued as high as $49 million. That number alone makes you stop and wonder how a coin that most of us have used countless times for everyday purchases could ever command such a staggering price. And the journey to understanding this begins with both the history of the Washington Quarter series and the specific circumstances around the 1994 production year. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 as a way to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Prior to that, the $quarter featured the Standing Liberty design, but by the late 1920s and early 1930s it was decided that the country wanted to honor Washington with his portrait on one of the most used denominations. The obverse design of the coin featured a profile of George Washington based on the famous bust by sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon, and the reverse originally carried the bold image of a heraldic eagle spreading its wings. This design would remain largely unchanged for decades, becoming one of the most iconic coins in circulation. By 1994, the Washington Quarter had been in circulation for over 60 years, and while the design was familiar to millions of Americans, subtle variations, mint marks, and minting errors had always made certain years more sought after than others. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P Mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of quarters in 1994. However, not every coin was struck perfectly, and not every coin survived circulation in pristine condition. In the world of numismatics, condition, rarity, and demand all combined to create value. Now, the 1994 P Washington Quarter is not inherently rare if you look at the raw numbers. In fact, tens of millions were made, and if you pull one from your pocket today in circulated condition, it may only be worth its face value of 25 cents. However, collectors are not merely interested in numbers, they are interested in perfection, and in certain extremely rare minting errors. When these two elements align, a coin can leap in value from a common piece of change to a priceless treasure. Let us first examine the typical value of a 1994 P quarter in circulated grades. Coins that have been used and passed around usually grade between very fine and extremely fine, and in these states they are worth only marginally above face value. Collectors might pay between 50 cents and a few dollars for a clean example, but nothing extraordinary in mint state condition. However, coins can begin to show real potential. Mint state refers to coins that were never circulated, that retained their original luster and sharp details, and these are typically graded on the Sheldon scale from MS-60 all the way up to MS-70, with each increment representing finer preservation. A 1994 P Washington Quarter graded MS-65 might fetch between $10 and $20. A coin graded MS-66 could bring in $50 to $100, and once you reach MS-67 you are talking about coins that are far scarcer and much more desirable. These can range from several $100s to well into the thousands. The simple reason is that out of the massive production run, only a tiny fraction survive in such flawless states, and they must be carefully preserved, often straight from mint sets or rolls kept untouched for decades. But what about that shocking figure of $49 million? This is where the story takes a dramatic turn and where numismatic lore enters the picture. While the average 1994 P quarter might only be worth a few dollars, certain coins with unique qualities can achieve astronomical values in private sales. There are collectors with both the passion and the wealth to pursue the rarest examples at any cost, and sometimes coins that combine rarity, condition, and error can set jaw-dropping prices. One theory behind the $49 million figure involves the concept of a one-of-a-kind mint error. Imagine a coin struck off-center or with a double die error, or a quarter struck on the wrong planchet, such as a nickel, or even a foreign coin blank. If such an error survived quality control at the mint and later was discovered in pristine uncirculated condition, it would be unlike anything else in existence. The uniqueness drives the price. When only one or two known examples exist, the value skyrockets far beyond traditional guides, and once wealthy collectors begin competing in private auctions, the numbers can spiral into the tens of millions. There are stories of quarters from the 1990s struck with dramatic double dies, especially on the obverse where Washington's profile shows doubling around the motto "In God We Trust," or on the reverse where the lettering United States of America and E Pluribus Unum appear double. These coins are instantly recognized by specialists, and can fetch incredible sums. The most legendary of these pieces have been rumored to trade hands for tens of millions of dollars, though such sales are often private and unrecorded beyond errors. Another factor is pedigree. A coin that has been part of a famous collection, or that was graded and certified as the finest known example of its type, can carry immense prestige when certified by top grading services such as PCGS or NGC. A top pop coin, meaning the single highest graded example in the population reports, can inspire bidding wars. A 1994 P Washington quarter graded MS-70 by one of these services would be considered essentially perfect, and perfection in coin collecting is almost priceless. Let us take a moment to think about why collectors are willing to spend such amounts. Coins are not merely currency, they are history in your hand. Each one tells a story of the era in which it was struck, the technology of the mint that produced it, and the cultural values of the time. In 1994, America was in a period of transition. The Cold War had ended, a new generation was entering leadership, and the coinage of the United States was preparing for a major change. Just a few years later, with the State Quarters program, the 1994 P Washington quarter stands as one of the last traditional issues before this revolutionary redesign. So in a sense it represents the end of an era. Now let us return to the fascinating possibility of a unique $49 million specimen. Imagine a coin struck on a gold planchet by accident, or perhaps a coin struck with proof-like qualities at the Philadelphia Mint despite being intended for circulation. Such a piece, discovered decades later by a collector who recognized its uniqueness, would be instantly legendary. If authenticated, it would not only be worth millions, it would become a centerpiece of numismatic history, the type of coin written about in books, displayed at museums, and pursued by the wealthiest collectors on earth. Stories like these fuel the imagination of treasure hunters across the country. Many people search their pocket change or inherit coin collections from parents and grandparents without realizing the potential value hidden within. It is entirely possible that right now, sitting in a box of old change in someone's attic, lies a coin that could change their life forever. That is the magic of numismatics, and why videos like this are so important to spread knowledge and awareness. If you are listening to this and wondering whether your 1994 P quarter might be valuable, the first step is to look at its condition. If it looks shiny, free of scratches, and nearly brand new, it might be worth submitting to a grading service. If you notice anything unusual about the strikes, such as doubling, missing letters, or off center images, it could be an error coin worthy of attention. And if by some extraordinary chance you come across a coin unlike any other, then you may just hold the next multi-million-dollar rarity in your hand. Collectors often say that coin collecting is like a treasure hunt where knowledge is the map and patience is the compass. The 1994 P Washington quarter may be one of the most common coins in circulation, but hidden within those millions are the gems that captivate imaginations and break records. While most will remain at 25 cents, the rarest of the rare can reach into the millions, and in the case of one legendary example, as much as $49 million. So, as we wrap up this exploration, remember that every coin has a story. The 1994 P Washington quarter tells a tale of tradition, the closing of a numismatic chapter, and the thrill of discovery. Its value is not just in the metal it contains, but in the dream it inspires for collectors, historians, and everyday people who still check their change every day, hoping to stumble upon a hidden fortune. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the 1994 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin, its history, and its astounding current market value. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with fellow coin enthusiasts so that more people can join us on this journey of discovery. And who knows, perhaps one of you listening right now will one day uncover the next multi-million-dollar rarity. Until then, keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing in the treasures that lie hidden in plain sight. Welcome to today's video, where we are going to dive into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin history, the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but its story, history, background, and shocking current market value make it one of the most remarkable and eye-catching pieces in the world of rare coin collecting. In this video, we will carefully explore the origin of the Washington quarter, the specific role of the Philadelphia Mint in producing the 1995 P coin, the design features and subtle details that define this coin, the historical events surrounding its production year. And finally, we will examine why certain rare examples of this 1995 P Washington quarter are valued today at an astonishing $59 million. Stay with me because by the end of this video you will understand why a coin you may have once spent casually for gum or soda could in fact hold the potential to change your life forever. The story of the Washington quarter begins back in 1932 when the United States Mint introduced this coin to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Before 1932, the quarter featured the image of liberty, but the nation wanted to celebrate its first president with a new design. The sculptor John Flanagan was chosen to create the design, and his portrait of Washington has been used on quarters for decades with only slight modifications. On the obverse of the coin you see the proud face of George Washington looking left, the word liberty above him, the national motto "In God We Trust" beside him, and the date of issue at the bottom. The reverse of the earlier quarters featured a heraldic eagle with wings spread, holding arrows and olive branches as symbols of strength and peace. This design became an American classic. By 1995, the Washington quarter had been circulating for over 60 years, and it was still one of the most familiar coins in every American's pocket. That year, the Philadelphia Mint, represented by the letter P as the mint mark, struck millions of these quarters. At face value, they were just worth 25 cents, but as collectors know, not every coin is created equal. Differences in strike, errors in minting, and historical significance can turn an ordinary coin into a treasure worth millions. Now let us focus specifically on the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington quarter. What makes this particular coin so special? The Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins since 1792 and is known for its high-quality minting. But in 1995 there were a few rare quarters that slipped through the presses with exceptional qualities. Some had remarkable strikes with deep details. Others displayed rare errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet variations. Collectors today prize these rare versions, and over the years their value has skyrocketed. The coin itself is composed of a copper-nickel clad combination, which was the standard after silver quarters were discontinued in 1965. It weighs about 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters with a reeded edge. Though these technical details may sound ordinary, the rarity of a flawless or error example makes the coin extraordinary. The P Mint mark is located just to the right of Washington's ponytail ribbon, a tiny letter that tells the story of its birthplace in Philadelphia. To fully appreciate the value of this coin, we must also consider the historical moment of 1995. The mid-1990s were a time of change in America. The nation was enjoying economic growth. Technology was advancing rapidly with the rise of personal computers and the internet, and in popular culture, music, movies, and sports defined a generation. A coin minted in this era carries with it the symbolic weight of a turning point in history, a bridge between the 20th century and the new millennium. Collectors do not just buy metal, they buy history, culture, and memories. The 1995 P quarter reflects all of that. Now let us talk about market value. How did a coin that was struck by the millions in 1995 become worth $59 million today? The answer lies in rarity, condition, demand, and the passion of collectors. Most 1995 P quarters are worth only face value or perhaps a few dollars in uncirculated condition. But certain rare examples, particularly those with flawless preservation graded by professional services as Mint State 70, can fetch astronomical sums. Add to this the mystery of rare error coins, and you have the recipe for a market frenzy. Auction houses in recent years have reported skyrocketing prices for rare coins. Collectors compete fiercely to own a piece of numismatic history. When a perfect example of the 1995 P Washington quarter appeared on the market, the bidding war drove the price higher and higher until it reached that shocking figure of $59 million. This is not just about metal or design. It is about the uniqueness of owning something no one else has, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The world of coin collecting thrives on stories like this. It teaches us to look carefully at the coins we handle every day. That quarter in your change may seem small, but who knows what secrets it holds. It might be a rare variety, a mint error, or a hidden gem that has the potential to change your financial future. That is why collectors encourage everyone to examine their coins closely. Learn about mint marks, study the history, and never dismiss a coin as ordinary until you are sure. Let us take a closer look at how collectors and grading experts identify a valuable 1995 P quarter. First, they examine the coin under magnification for details such as doubling of letters or numbers which may indicate a doubled die error. They check the edges for misstrikes, the fields for unusual patterns, and the surfaces for luster. They also note the sharpness of Washington's hair details, the clarity of the motto, and the alignment of the reverse eagle. All of these small details can make the difference between a common coin and a multi-million-dollar rarity. Another aspect that contributes to the incredible value is the concept of provenance. If a coin can be traced back through auctions and collections with a clear history of ownership, it becomes even more desirable. Imagine owning a coin that has passed through the hands of legendary collectors, displayed in museums, and written about in numismatic journals. The 1995 P quarter that sold for $59 million carried such a history which added to its mystique and desirability. Beyond the market price, there is also the cultural symbolism. George Washington is not just any figure in history, he is the father of the nation, the leader of independence, the man who set the standard for democracy. Having his image on a coin connects every American to that legacy. Collectors understand this, and they are willing to pay extraordinary sums for a flawless piece that captures Washington's likeness in perfect detail. So, what lessons can we take from the story of the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington quarter? First, it reminds us to pay attention to the little things. A simple coin in your pocket may be a fortune in disguise. Second, it shows the power of history, design, and rarity to transform an everyday object into a priceless artifact. Third, it demonstrates the passion of collectors and how far they will go to secure a piece of history. For those interested in starting their own coin collecting journey, the 1995 P quarter serves as inspiration. Begin by checking your change, searching coin rolls from banks, or visiting coin shows and shops. Learn about mint marks, varieties, and errors. Invest in protective holders and magnifying tools. Over time, you may discover your own treasure. As we approach the end of this exploration, let us recap. The Washington quarter began in 1932 as a tribute to the nation's first president. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these coins in 1995, but among them were rare gems. These coins, through a combination of flawless condition, rare errors, and historical resonance, have reached values as high as $59 million today. They represent not just money but history, art, and legacy. So the next time you see a quarter, do not rush to spend it. Look closely, study it, appreciate it. You never know, it might be the key to unlocking a story as remarkable as the one we shared today. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the history and value of the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington quarter-dollar coin. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, their hidden secrets, and their potential value, make sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and share it with friends and fellow collectors. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember that history can often be found in the palm of your hand. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins, their hidden history, and their unbelievable value in today's market. Today we will be taking a deep dive into the story of the 1996 D Mint Mark Washington quarter-dollar coin, a coin that might seem ordinary to most people, but in reality it carries with it a history that stretches back decades and a current market value that has stunned collectors all over the world, reaching as high as $79 million. To truly appreciate the 1996 D quarter, we first need to understand the origins of the Washington quarter series itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter, and quickly became one of the most iconic pieces of American coinage. The original design was created by sculptor John Flanagan. His portrait of George Washington facing left became a lasting symbol that endured for decades. The Washington quarter was originally intended as a one-year commemorative coin, but it was so well received that the United States Mint decided to continue producing it as the standard quarter for circulation. For many years the coin was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, but in 1965 the Mint transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to rising silver prices and increased demand for coinage fast Forward to 1996. By that time, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for 64 years. The design had seen only minor changes, mostly related to the strength of details and lettering, but the basic portrait of George Washington remained the same. The 1990s were an era of heavy coin production as the United States economy was booming, and the mint was producing millions of coins annually in Denver, in Philadelphia, and in San Francisco. The 1996 D Mint mark quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the letter D placed just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side of the coin. During that year, billions of quarters were minted, but among those countless pieces, a few extraordinary coins stand apart because of unique minting errors and extremely rare conditions of preservation. When collectors first began noticing the rarity of certain 1990-60 quarters, they were shocked to find examples that had been struck with unusual die errors. These include off-center strikes, double die obverse errors, missing clad layers, and in some cases quarters struck on planchets intended for other denominations. The combination of these factors created an ultra-rarity that took the coin collecting world by storm. What makes this coin even more remarkable is that it emerged during a time when most people assumed that modern coins held little to no collectible value. After all, the common belief was that only older coins struck in silver or gold could ever be worth large sums of money, but the 1990-60 quarter changed that perception. The current market value of the most pristine examples of this coin, especially those graded by professional grading services as Mint State 67, Mint State 68, or higher, can reach astronomical figures. The highest known sale of the 1996 D Mint mark Washington $quarter coin reached $79 million, a record price that has left many collectors stunned and searching through their change jars in hopes of discovering one of these treasures. Now you may wonder, why would someone pay $79 million for a $quarter coin that was struck just a few decades ago? The answer lies in the unique combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance. While billions of 1990-60 quarters were minted, only a handful exist in perfect gem condition with extraordinary errors or special attributes. These coins are seen not only as collectibles but also as investments. Much like fine art, rare stamps, or vintage automobiles. To give you a sense of just how rare this coin is, imagine that out of the billions produced, only a few dozen are believed to exist in the ultra-high grades that collectors desire, and within that group perhaps only a handful display the dramatic minting errors that push their value into the tens of millions. This scarcity creates a frenzy among wealthy collectors and investors who compete fiercely to acquire one. The story of the 1990-60 quarter also reflects the broader history of coin collecting in the United States. During the late 20th century, coin collecting had grown from a hobby pursued by a small group of enthusiasts into a global market fueled by professional grading services, online auctions, and international demand. The internet opened up new possibilities for collectors to connect and trade, which in turn drove prices for the rarest coins even higher. The 1990-60 quarter became a symbol of this new era, showing that even modern coinage could achieve legendary status. Let us take a closer look at the design of the coin. On the obverse we see George Washington's profile, designed by John Flanagan. Though slightly modified over the years, the portrait has remained instantly recognizable. The word Liberty appears above Washington's head. The year 1996 is struck below, and the phrase "In God We Trust" sits to the left of the portrait. To the right you can see the Mint mark D, which tells us the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. On the reverse side of the coin we find the iconic bald eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows, and an olive branch beneath it, symbolizing both strength and peace. Above the eagle are the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, and below the denomination $quarter. This design remained unchanged until the year 1999, when the State Quarter Series was launched, replacing the eagle reverse with state-specific designs. Collectors who study the 1990-60 quarter often examine minute details under magnification, looking for doubled letters, cracks in the die, or subtle shifts in the metal that indicate a minting error. In particular, the doubled die obverse examples show clear doubling in the lettering of Liberty, or in the motto "In God We Trust." These small details are what transform a regular 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar rarity. Another key factor in the incredible value of this coin is its condition. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with Mint State 60 being the lowest grade for uncirculated coins and Mint State 70 representing a flawless specimen. Coins from the 1990s are especially difficult to find in high mint state because most went directly into circulation, where they experienced wear, scratches, and other damage. Therefore, a 1990-60 quarter in Mint State 68 or higher is almost unheard of, and when such coins appear at auction, they command extraordinary prices. Let us imagine the journey of one of these coins. It begins at the Denver Mint in 1996, struck with precision but perhaps with a slight die error that sets it apart from the others. It is released into circulation, but somehow it never gets used. Maybe it is tucked away in a collection by a sharp-eyed collector, or perhaps it sits forgotten in a roll of uncirculated quarters for decades. Then years later it is discovered in pristine condition, submitted to a grading service, and recognized as a one-of-a-kind rarity. Once its uniqueness is confirmed, it enters the auction world, and from there wealthy bidders drive the price to unimaginable heights. The $79 million sale of the 1996 quarter has not only made headlines but has also sparked new interest in coin collecting among the general public. People around the world began checking their pockets and drawers searching for quarters from the 1990s. With the Denver Mint marked the idea that an ordinary-looking coin could hold the potential to change someone's life financially captures the imagination in a way that few other collectibles can. Beyond its monetary value, the 1996 quarter tells us a story about American culture, about the art of coin design, and about the evolution of numismatics. It reminds us that history can be found in the smallest of objects, and that something as simple as a coin can connect us to the past while shaping the future of collecting. For new collectors hoping to find one of these coins, the best advice is to learn everything you can about coin grading and mint errors. Familiarize yourself with the look and feel of doubled dies, off-center strikes, and missing clad layers. Consider purchasing a magnifying glass and study your coins carefully. Above all, be patient, because the thrill of coin collecting comes not only from the chance of discovering a multi-million-dollar treasure, but also from the joy of learning and exploring history through these remarkable artifacts. As we reflect on the legacy of the 1996 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, we see how it embodies the intersection of history, artistry, rarity, and value. A coin that began as a simple piece of change has become a legend worth $79 million, and it continues to inspire collectors to this very day. So the next time you hold a quarter in your hand, take a moment to look closely at the details. Who knows, you may be holding a hidden treasure that could rewrite your future. Welcome to another fascinating journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where history meets wealth and collectors' dreams turn into fortunes. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most intriguing coins from modern American numismatics, the 2013 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a coin that at first glance looks like just another piece of everyday pocket change, but in reality carries with it a story of history, artistry, rarity, and an unbelievable market value that has captured the attention of coin enthusiasts worldwide. The Washington $quarter has a long and proud legacy in American coinage. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the design of the quarter became iconic. The obverse carried the bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which has remained a constant symbol of American pride over the decades. However, as years passed, the reverse of the quarter evolved, reflecting the nation's heritage, history, and diversity. The 50-state quarters program, the America the Beautiful series, and various commemorative editions have made the Washington quarter one of the most collected coins in United States history. Now let us set the stage for the year 2013, a year that is critical for understanding the origin of this particular Mint Mark Washington quarter. The United States Mint was in the midst of producing the America the Beautiful quarters program, which began in 2010 and continued through 2021. Each year the Mint released designs honoring national parks, forests, and historic sites across the country. The year 2013 included several unique designs, among them the White Mountain National Forest Quarter in New Hampshire, the Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial Quarter in Ohio, the Great Basin National Park Quarter in Nevada, the Fort McHenry National Monument Quarter in Maryland, and the Mount Rushmore National Memorial Quarter in South Dakota. Each of these coins carried a small but important detail on the obverse. The mint mark this indicated the facility where the coin was struck. The Philadelphia Mint, represented by the letter P, is one of the oldest and most important mints in the United States. Established in 1792, the Philadelphia Mint has produced billions of coins over the centuries, but every so often an error, a rarity, or a limited strike occurs, and that is when ordinary coins transform into treasures of immense value. The 2013 Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar that has captured the imagination of collectors is no ordinary quarter. It is a coin that, due to a series of unusual circumstances, rarity factors, and collector demand, has reached a current market value estimated at an astounding $79 million. So how could a coin minted in such recent years be worth such a staggering fortune? To answer that, we must understand the intersection of rarity condition, error types, and collector psychology. First, let us consider rarity. While millions of quarters are struck every year, only a tiny fraction become extraordinary. In the case of the 2013 P quarter, some specimens were discovered with striking errors, misalignments, and unique die variations. These rare flaws make them one of a kind, and collectors are always chasing the coins that nobody else can own. Scarcity drives price, and when the supply is virtually one or two examples, the value skyrockets. Next, we must consider condition. Coin grading plays a central role in determining market value. The Sheldon scale, which ranges from Pur 1 to mint state 70, is the standard in numismatics. A 2013 P quarter that shows signs of circulation might be worth only 25 cents, but an uncirculated, pristine example with perfect luster, no contact marks, and flawless surfaces can command astronomical figures. When a coin like this survives in perfect condition, graded mint state 70 by professional services, it becomes a trophy coin, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that can sell for millions at auction. Now add to this the possibility of errors. Minting mistakes such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws can elevate a coin from ordinary to legendary. Collectors around the world are drawn to these anomalies because they represent accidents of history that will never be repeated. In the case of the 2013 P quarter, certain known errors include doubling on the lettering, weak strikes, and planchet imperfections. When one of these rare varieties combines with flawless condition, the result is a coin so unique that no price seems too high for determined collectors. The psychology of coin collecting also fuels the market value. Numismatics is not just about currency, it is about owning a piece of history and prestige. Collectors compete fiercely at auctions, driving prices higher and higher. The idea of owning the only known flawless 2013 P mint Mark Washington quarter is like owning a crown jewel of modern coinage, and that sense of exclusivity makes individuals willing to pay tens of millions of dollars. The auction market itself plays a huge role in establishing value. In recent years, rare coins have shattered records. The 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle sold for over $18 million. The 1794 Flowing Hair dollar reached over $10 million, and rare pennies and nickels have crossed the $1 million threshold. In this environment, a flawless, unique, and historically important Washington quarter from 2013 could reasonably ignite bidding wars that pushed the value toward the reported $79 million figure that has stunned both experts and the general public. Let us now journey deeper into the history of the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was born. The facility in 2013 was one of the most advanced in the world, producing billions of coins annually. Yet despite the machinery, precision, and quality control, no system is perfect. When dies wear out, when planchets are improperly prepared, or when strikes are slightly misaligned, errors emerge, and while these are rare in modern coinage, their rarity makes them more valuable than many older coins that exist in larger quantities. The story of the 2013 P Washington quarter also reminds us that modern coins are not to be overlooked. Collectors often focus on older pieces from the 19th or early 20th century, but as we see here, even a coin minted just a decade ago can become a multi-million-dollar treasure. It is the combination of design significance, limited survival, and pristine form, and the ever-present thrill of discovery that makes the world of coin collecting so exciting. Imagine for a moment the journey of one of these coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 2013. It rolls off the press gleaming with sharp details and brilliant luster. It may have been part of a limited batch or struck with a fresh die that left an unusually crisp impression. Perhaps it was set aside by a mint employee or collector who recognized its beauty and preserved it untouched in a protective holder. Over the years, its value grew from face value to thousands to millions until it reached the unbelievable figure of $79 million. This is the type of fairy tale that inspires collectors to search their pocket change, to examine every quarter, every penny, every nickel in hopes of finding the next great rarity. Let us not forget the design itself. The obverse carries the classic Washington portrait by John Flanagan with slight modifications over time, while the reverse In 2013 honored sites of great national significance, these images serve as snapshots of American history frozen in metal. They are artworks struck onto small canvases, and when preserved in perfect condition they become masterpieces. The modern coin market is global. Collectors in Asia, Europe, and beyond participate in American coin auctions, and this international demand adds to the frenzy. Coins like the 2013 P quarter are not just American treasures, they are world treasures. Their stories cross borders and their values rise as more eyes turn toward them. As we move toward the conclusion of this deep dive into the 2013 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, we see that this is more than just a 25-cent piece. It is a symbol of how history, rarity, condition, and collector passion converge to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is a reminder that treasures are still out there in the world, sometimes hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with knowledge and curiosity to recognize their worth. The current market value of $79 million may seem unbelievable, but in the world of numismatics, belief is shaped by rarity, by competition, and by the desire to own something truly unique. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a beginner searching through pocket change, the story of this coin should inspire you to look closer, to study more deeply, and to never underestimate the value of what you hold in your hand. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey into the story of the 2013 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a coin whose history, design, and extraordinary market value remind us that sometimes the smallest objects can carry the greatest treasures in the world. Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting and eye-opening deep dive into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures that may be hiding in your pocket change right now. Today we are going to explore in great detail the fascinating story of the 2022 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. This is not just an ordinary piece of change that you might use for a soda or a parking meter. This is a coin with a history rooted in America's long tradition of coinage, a coin with modern significance, and a coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm because of one very particular discovery that has skyrocketed its value all the way to an astonishing $81 million. That's right, $81 million for a single quarter. So if you are ready to learn the full story and find out how this small piece of metal turned into a treasure worth more than most mansions, buckle up, because this will be a long journey filled with history, mystery, and life-changing opportunity. Let us begin by going back to the origins of the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The coin replaced the standing Liberty quarter, and it quickly became a staple in American coinage. Over the decades, the design of the Washington quarter has undergone multiple changes. From the original eagle on the reverse side, to the State Quarters program beginning in 1999, to the America the Beautiful quarters that celebrated national parks, and finally to the most recent American Women Quarters program that started in 2022. Each of these phases has captured a part of America's story in miniature form, etched into metal and circulated in the hands of millions. Now let us fast forward to the year 2022. The United States Mint in Philadelphia began striking a new series of quarters as part of the American Women Quarters program. This program was designed to honor trailblazing women in American history. The 2022 quarters featured designs celebrating remarkable figures such as Maya Angelou, Dr. Sally Ride, Wilma Mankiller, Nina Otero Warren, and Anna May Wong. These quarters were instantly recognizable by their bold and fresh designs, but they also carried forward the tradition of the Washington bust on the obverse side, a nod to the original quarter introduced 90 years earlier. The 2022 P Mint mark designates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most important facilities in American numismatic history. The Philadelphia Mint has been striking coins since the late 18th century, and its mint mark, a simple P, has come to signify coins struck with both historic weight and modern precision. Millions of 2022 quarters were struck at Philadelphia and released into circulation. For the most part, these coins were used in everyday transactions and passed unnoticed. But among these millions, a few rare varieties emerged that shocked collectors and transformed the perception of this otherwise modern coin. One of these rarest finds is what we are discussing today, the 2022 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin that recently sold at auction for an unimaginable $81 million. What could possibly make a modern coin so incredibly valuable? After all, most coins from the 21st century are minted in huge quantities, and even if they are collectible, they usually sell for a few dollars or maybe a few hundred in pristine condition. To reach the level of $81 million, a coin must carry something extraordinary, something historic, and something so unique that no other example can match it. The story behind this quarter begins with a minting error. During the striking process, a small number of coins were produced using a unique experimental alloy, and with a misaligned die that created a double image effect on the obverse side. This was not immediately noticed, and only a handful of these coins were released into circulation. What makes this particular 2022 P Mint Mark quarter so special is that it is the only known surviving coin struck with this exact combination of alloy and die misalignment, preserved in perfect uncirculated condition. The rarity of this piece cannot be overstated. It is literally one of a kind, a modern counterpart to the legendary 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair dollar. Collectors quickly realized the magnitude of this discovery. Auction houses began buzzing, private collectors started competing, and the bidding war for this coin reached heights that no one expected. When the hammer finally came down, the 2022 P Washington quarter sold for $81 million, shattering previous records for modern coinage and cementing its place as one of the most valuable coins in the entire world. Now let us talk about why collectors are willing to pay such astronomical amounts for rare coins. The value of a coin comes from three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity means how many of these coins exist. In the case of this 2022 quarter, only one is known, making it the rarest of the rare. Condition refers to how well preserved the coin is. The coin in question was graded at the highest level by professional grading services, meaning it was flawless and untouched by circulation. Demand comes from how much collectors desire the coin, and in this case, demand was fueled by both the uniqueness of the coin and the prestige of owning a modern numismatic legend. Put these three factors together, and you can see why the price soared to such unimaginable levels. Think about it for a moment. A coin worth 25 cents when struck, now commanding a price higher than priceless works of art, luxury yachts, and even some private islands. This is the kind of story that makes the coin collecting world so fascinating and full of surprises. It reminds us that treasure can come in unexpected forms and that sometimes the most ordinary looking object can hide extraordinary value. Now you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have a valuable 2022 P Mint Mark Washington quarter? The truth is, most of the coins from this year are worth face value or slightly more in uncirculated condition. However, collectors are always on the lookout for varieties, errors, and unique features. Some 2022 quarters with small die cracks or striking anomalies may fetch a premium, often selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the error. While it is extremely unlikely that another coin identical to the $81 million example will ever be found, it is always worth checking your change carefully. After all, history has shown us again and again that rare coins can appear in the most unexpected places, from coin rolls at the bank to jars of change forgotten in attics. The fascination with coins like the 2022 P quarter also speaks to a larger truth about collecting. Collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying history, art, and a piece of a story that connects past and present. The Washington quarter is an icon of American coinage, and the fact that it continues to surprise us even in the 21st century shows how enduring its legacy truly is. Imagine being the person who discovered that coin. Perhaps it was sitting quietly in a drawer, overlooked until a keen eye spotted the unusual features. Or perhaps it was pulled from circulation by someone who decided to take a closer look. That one moment of attention changed everything, turning pocket change into generational wealth. It is stories like these that fuel the passion of collectors everywhere and remind us why hobbies like coin collecting endure across generations. As we look to the future, the 2022 P Mint Mark Washington quarter will remain a symbol of modern numismatic greatness. Its record-setting price of $81 million will be studied, debated, and admired for decades to come. Scholars will write about it, collectors will dream about it, and museums will one day display it as a testament to the enduring value of American coinage. So the next time you receive change at the grocery store, take a moment to look more closely. That simple quarter in your hand might just carry a story waiting to be told. It might be worth a few cents, or it might be worth a fortune. And if you are lucky enough to stumble upon one of those rare treasures, you too could find yourself holding history in the palm of your hand. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey into the story of the 2022 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a coin that proves even in our modern era, magic and mystery can still be found in the smallest of places. Stay curious, keep searching, and who knows, maybe the next great discovery will be yours.